Prime rib. So delicious and oh so slappable. What is prime rib? Contrary to popular belief, prime rib doesn't refer to the grade of the meat. It refers to the primal rib cut, also officially known as a standing rib roast. We call it prime because it sounds cooler, but does prime rib have to be prime? Let's talk about beef in the US. The USDA grades all beef into 4 categories: ungraded, select, choice, and prime, in ascending order of quality and marbling of fat. Put it to you this way: ungraded is Arnie on a cut, select is Arnie during a bulk, choice is me, and prime is the full fatty boy. Also me. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We would appreciate that very much. Our contenders today are a choice grade rib and a prime grade rib. The question we're attempting to answer is, does prime rib have to be prime? Or can you save yourself some money and have the same meat-alicious experience with a potentially lesser cut of meat? We're going to start things off by cleaning some of the fat and getting our meat off the bone. Some people prefer to keep the bone on for added juiciness. The bones can act as a heat barrier and let the heat dissipate more slowly, but it does create more uneven cooking since one side of your meat has a heat barrier and the other side doesn't. So, since prime rib is all about getting the perfect even cook, we're going to remove the bones. Plus, you get even more meat surface area to bind your seasonings onto. The most common complaints I hear about prime rib are that it's undercooked and it's underseasoned. To which I say, you're being a baby, and taking the bones off will help you get an even cook and better seasoning. Speaking of even cook, we're going to tie up our meat using butcher's twine to make it as even a shape as possible. Tying it up also stops the fat cap from rolling backwards during cooking. Because prime rib is such a great cut of meat, you really don't want to overcomplicate your seasoning. We're grinding whole black pepper in a mortar and pestle to get that uneven pepper grind. Also, it feels a lot more legit to use one of these, so we're gonna go with that. Add some paprika, some garlic powder, some kosher salt, and flaky salt for texture. Mix it up well with a spoon before we add our rosemary. We grabbed a couple of fresh rosemary stalks from our local garden, Kroger. We're going to take off the leaves from the stems and chop them as finely as we can. Now, we add our chopped rosemary into our seasoning mix. We're adding a heavy coating of seasoning onto our meat. If at any point you feel like I'm over seasoning, just remember, when you serve prime rib, the seasoning is all on the edges. Most of the seasoning will never touch the center of the meat, so please season away. And repeat the process. Which do you think is going to win, the choice grade rib or the prime grade rib? Let us know in the comments below. A few hours later, we take out our choice rib because this puppy is going to take a bath. But first, we need some color. Add that meat into a ripping hot stainless steel pan. These are big boys, so please be careful when maneuvering around hot oil. Sear each side for exactly 2 minutes. Once our meat is nicely tanned, it's ready for a 12-hour sous vide bath. Wiggle your rib into a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. If you're like me and don't have a massive vacuum sealer lying around, I'm going to show you how to get a pretty good seal. Gently lower your bag into a big container of water. Submerge the bag almost fully without getting the opening inside the water. The water pushes out any air in the bag, at which point you're good to slide and seal the bag. Place your sous vide and set the temperature to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. The goal here is to give the choice rib a real fighting chance by cooking it low and slow in a water bath for 12 hours, making it extra tender and cooked perfect to a medium rare. The next morning, we're ready to assemble our seasoning paste. The paste is going to help develop a beautiful roasty crust on our ribs. Start by finely dicing some garlic, some rosemary, and add it into our bowl. Add some mayo, some Dijon mustard, and some horseradish. And some horseradish. Oh, and we're also going to add some of our dry seasoning from yesterday to really round things out. While we have the cutting board out, we may as well also put together our horseradish sauce. Start by finely chopping some chives and add it into your bowl. Add some ground pepper, some kosher salt, and some horseradish. Some sour cream, some mayonnaise, and some apple cider vinegar. Mix well and season for taste. At this point, both of our steaks are ready for the next step in their journey. The choice rib has sous vide for 12 hours, and the prime has been slowly coming to room temperature. The choice rib has lost a lot of moisture, as you can see, and it's pretty much fully cooked. The prime, on the other hand, is ready for its 3-hour cook in the oven. We're going to lather both heavily with the paste we created earlier, with the prime getting a little extra compared to the choice, just because the choice isn't going to get as much heat this point onwards, so we don't want a ton of moisture on the surface. And with that, our meats are ready to be heat blasted, with the prime going in the oven and the choice going to the charcoal grill. This is my favorite part. You're probably wondering, why is the prime going in the oven while the choice is on the grill? It's all about giving the choice a fighting chance. Infusing that smoky flavor from the coals is going to give that additional zing to the choice rib. The low and slow sous vide bath followed by a hot sear on the grill should give the choice rib the ultimate tenderness and crunch. Back in the kitchen, we need to insert a temperature probe correctly into the prime meat. Let me show you how. This is a ThermaPro temperature probe that we're going to insert into the thickest part of the meat by first measuring the probe and then inserting. Place your prime meat into a preheated oven at 300 degrees until the center of the meat registers 123 degrees. At that point, take your meat out and let it rest for 40 to 60 minutes. We're going to put both roasts into the oven one final time to be blasted with heat at 500 degrees for 5 minutes. You didn't think we forgot about our ribs, did you? These bad boys were in the sous vide for 6 hours, then uncovered on the charcoal grill for 1 hour, before being wrapped up in aluminum foil and cooked for 3 more hours. The results speak for themselves. Super tender meat still on the bone. The knife slides through the meat like butter. The boys are gonna have a blast gnawing on these later. Back to our rib roasts. I'm not gonna lie, the crust on the prime looks a little better than the choice, but I'm going to reserve judgment until we get to taste. We're first carving up the choice rib. It's actually got a great crust, so I'm excited. Hold your breath. Beautiful. Give it a nice squeeze. Juicy. Next, we're going to slice up the prime rib. Oh my gosh, the crust on this one is to die for. Hold your breath again. Wow. So much juice. Actually, too much juice. We probably could have let this rest a little longer. Now, on to my other favorite part, the tasting. We're gonna carve up nice steak-sized pieces for ourselves and grab our bib. The cook on both of these is pretty much perfect. The choice is edge to edge medium rare, and the prime is beautifully red in the center with some gray banding on the edges. The choice, as you can see, literally cuts like butter. I'm feeling famished, so I'm going to take a nice big piece first. Call it the chef's cut. Wow, okay. Gonna do the same with the prime. Oh my gosh, okay, I gotta take another bite. I don't want to choose, but it's gotta be the prime. It's just so much more flavorful. Wow. So, where does that leave us? The prime was definitely better, but the choice was also excellent. Thinking back on it, I would have gone with the shorter sous vide time on the choice, or maybe just cooking both the same way in the oven. I don't know. What I do know is I'm grateful to be able to enjoy these meats and share the experience with you. Also, this is way too much food for me, so I'm gonna go share with some friends. Thanks for watching.